Hey again, and welcome to yet another episode of Success Builders. Today we have Susan Anderson. How are you doing today, Sue?
I'm great. Thanks, Ricardo.
Good. Where are you calling in from?
I'm Northeast Tennessee in the Appalachian or Smoky Mountains.
Oh, so awesome. You're on the other side of the world to me. I'm in the future in New Zealand.
You are. Was today a good day?
Well, my day's just starting, so I'll tell you at the end of it.
Okay.
I might even have the lotto numbers for you.
Oh, there we go. I love it.
Sue, you are from, let me see if I can say this name right. The Idle Woods Retreat Center. Is that right?
Very close. So close. Everybody has a hard time. I should have thought of that when I named it, but Idlewild Woods Retreat Center.
Oh, I've missed out the wild. Okay. I was playing it
Most
safe,
people
but
do.
I missed out the wild part. I was being a bit tame. So, yeah, we'd love to know about your journey, basically, how you came to decide to set up a retreat center like this and all the events that led up to that, and then tell us a bit about how the retreat experience works and what one can expect. So I'll just leave it to you, open floor, talk to the audience and tell us about you and about what you do.
Sure. Thanks so much. I appreciate it.
Pleasure.
So it's kind of funny. What is it, 2024 right now?
Yeah.
I started my first business in 2005 and it was freelance writing. And I worked and worked. I worked my face off basically all the time, work, work, work. And basically, I didn't go outside. Outdoors was where my car lived. And I thought, well, that's, time outside. That sounds nice. That's probably for very wealthy people who don't have to work. And I had a family to support, business to run, and it just went like that. And I thought, I guess I'm just an inside person. And then about three years or so ago, I read a book by Trevor G. Blake called Three Simple Steps. And Trevor has built like all these nine-figure businesses. He's over 50. I think he's over 60 now. He didn't start as an entrepreneur till he was 50, builds all these businesses. And then throughout the book, he's talking about how he spends like maybe 3, 4 hours a day working. Oh, and by working, I'm out walking my dogs or sitting under a tree. And I'm like, this sounds crazy. There's no way. This guy's, but I don't know, all my things went up there. I'm like, all right, he wrote a book on this, like this is what he's known for. So during this, I decided I would kind of take a challenge and go and spend 10 minutes a day outside first thing. And I didn't want to do it. I thought, all right, I'll do it. I'm like, it's really hot. It's buggy. It's kind of boring. I don't like this, but I did commit. So I'm going to do this thing. And that went on for about 2 weeks. And then all of a sudden, I found myself like, that was first thing in the morning. One day after lunch, I'm like, ooh, I want to go outside. I'm like, wait a second, what is this? Like, and it started spreading. And soon I started craving more time outside. I'm like, how can I finish my work so I can get out there faster? What would happen if I went out first and then I worked after? And I started getting really great ideas. I'm like, this is what he said would happen. He guess he wasn't lying after all. This is amazing. And then one day I was taking this long car drive, another place where I get really great ideas, probably you too. And all of a sudden I had this very clear impression. I'm like, am I crazy or what? I'm almost hearing a voice going, hey, you should build an entrepreneur retreat center up in the Smoky Mountains. What? Like, so I get home and I have this very awkward conversation with my hubby. Hey, hun, and he's like, I like it. I We could probably do that. We have some things to close up and make that transition. That's a pretty big life transition, but I was like, this is what we need to do. I'd been working for a company that helps entrepreneurs learn how to build physical products and for physical products businesses and like hit 1 million in a year, this type of thing. And so I was really in touch. My job was interviewing students, telling their story, all this. So I had all these connections and I started asking them, I'm like, is this totally crazy? And they're like, please build it. Like, okay. Like, so it was nuts.
Yeah, so like the old adage goes that says build it and they will come, right?
Well, hopefully they will. So this March, so this was a few years into it. I had some angel investors that helped us start buying the property. I found this, I don't know if you have acres or how you measure land over there, but 35
We
acres here.
Yeah, I think we also use hectares and acres.
Yeah.
Uh, Once you start going past the square meters, then you start getting into hectares and acres, I think here.
Whew. Yeah,
Yeah, so it's
hectares, I don't even understand. Acres, I can't even really conceptualize, but now I know what 35 of them look like. That's what we
okay.
have.
I think
So,
I think it's
so
pretty big.
it's big. It's big. So there's a creek that runs the whole length of the property, and then there's pastures, and there are these hills that are wooded, and it's fall here, so it's absolutely getting gorgeous. And so we moved here onto the property after closing another business and selling everything. We moved here onto the property to homestead while we build this retreat center.
Okay.
And it's been a lot of learning. We started off completely off grid. Now I'm on Starlink, so thank goodness there's internet. Thank you, Elon.
Yeah.
And it's we're gradually making the place suitable to live in, but also starting on building the retreat center itself. So my goal is to put in 20 geodesic domes. I don't know if anybody, if for
I know
people
what
who
those
haven't
are.
seen that, you
Yeah.
do. Okay, so it's kind of like an igloo, but it has that beautiful, window on the one whole wall of windows, basically, and put them up in the hill area and put all kinds of little off-grid amenities like a wood-fired hot tub and sauna and things like that. And then eventually we have gardens going. I'm going to be planting an orchard. We'll be able to do, farm to table food for our guests as well. And planning to get chickens. I've raised them before. Sheep, alpacas, and also Highland cows because
Oh,
I'm like,
nice.
that's just fun. But so it's very exciting that my whole when I talk with people, they're like, "Well, what will we do there?" I'm like, "Well, there's a ton of stuff you can go do. That's not a problem, but I almost kind of prefer if you get bored. Like I would love for people to just go sit under a tree, go walk, go sit with their feet in the creek, hang out around the campfire, type of thing because I'm
I think we've lost you with the Starlink. So this will happen every once in a while. Sue did tell me that Starlink recalibrates its satellites every now and then, and we do lose the feed. So it could happen a few times during the
work that
interview.
an entrepreneur can do.
So so your Starlink went out
It
again.
have Oh no,
You I did explain to the audience what happened. So while we are waiting for you
thank
to
you.
get back, they knew
Where did I
exactly what
lose? Where did I get lost?
Uh, I'm not too sure. So
All right, geodesic
you just
domes and
yeah, there we go.
Highland
Yeah.
cows. I think I
Yeah.
saw a response for that. So yeah, I was saying a lot of people are like, "Well, what do we do while we're there?" And I'm like, "There's lots of stuff you can go out and do. The Appalachian Trail is nearby. There's antiques. There's all kinds of stuff you can go do." But I kind of prefer if people would get a little bored. Like, I want them to be, hanging out in nature,
Yeah.
not hurried, we'll put a lockbox if you want to put your phone and your screens in there and just go sit. Because I believe that the most important work that we do as entrepreneurs and founders is creative stuff, not so much the productivity, like get it done,
True.
get it done. I think we have to spend that unrushed time to really connect the dots and like breathe into our business and see what we can actually create. So that's my hope. And then also, because the other major problem that a lot of entrepreneurs have is being so isolated, especially post
Mm.
pandemic, all that. We've gotten great, like we can meet people across the world on Zoom. It's fantastic. But it's even more amazing, like when you get to have face-to-face time that's not like, oh, okay, I got 15 minutes for this call. Like
That's right.
just
Yeah.
being able to really like, you
Things
know,
just flow and you can
yeah.
create those deeper connections, right? Um,
Yeah.
I've got the pleasure of being able to go to something similar. Like in 2 weeks, I'm going to Australia. I'm going to have a men's retreat, and we're going to rejuvenate a private rainforest by planting trees. So
Wow.
that's going to be really cool, and I'm going to be experiencing exactly what you're saying now today.
Yeah.
And I also have been finding more and more I prefer to be outdoors. Like sometimes our kids will go play outside, and I'll just take a chair and I'll go sit out there, watch them, and do all my social media stuff that I have to do for the day while sitting outside. And that's actually sometimes feels like the best time that I'm doing work. It doesn't
Yeah, it
feel like
is.
work. It feels like you're kind of like taking a break.
Like you
Um,
snuck out.
yeah,
Like,
it's like it's not literally snuck out. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And so I think it's wonderful what you're doing, and I think a lot of people are disconnected from nature nowadays because we live in
yeah,
concrete jungles. We are on the internet all the time. Solopreneurs are online doing meetings and Zoom like this.
yeah,
I like how you brought a bit of nature behind you today in your background. It's
yeah.
lovely.
Thank you. That's our driveway.
Okay, cool. So
I'm
cool.
sitting in the barn right now. I could take the picture off and you just see a metal barn, which
Right,
is
right.
our headquarters. You know, what's so cool, Ricardo, when you take that trip in a couple weeks,
Yes,
you're going to build friendships. You're going to meet all these guys you've never met. You're
yes,
going to be sweating together, digging, telling stories, joking around, eating food together. And you're going to end up coming away from that with friends that you will probably, at least two or three of them, I predict, you'll be in touch with for the next couple decades. It's just
that's
such a
amazing. Yeah.
powerful thing because we're so starved for that face-to-face connection with people, and you're going to have that. That's so my hat's off to you. I love that you
Yeah, I'm
paid
stepping
money to
out
go
there.
plant trees. I love that.
I
I'm
paid
I'm
money to
totally
plant
using
trees.
that.
Sounds like a scam.
We've got some manual labor here. Like,
Yeah.
come on down, pay us and you can work. That's
You,
awesome.
you have to be like a really good coach to pull off something like that, to like get
It's
people to
true.
pay to come and do work on your land, right? So
It's true.
that in itself is inspiring.
It is. I'm like, that's pretty awesome. Mm,
So yeah, so I really love the fact that your husband was supportive. That's really cool. It's so important to have people in your life that support you in your dreams and what you do. And
yeah.
that was so cool that he was just open to it and said, "Cool, let's do it, this guy." And
Yeah.
it's scary, but doing it
Right.
together is less scary than
Yeah.
just doing it by yourself without support. So
That's for
hats off to
sure.
him.
And
It's
we're if
wonderful.
yeah, no, I'm amazed. And it's like many days he's like, "Thank you for dragging me out here." I'm like, "You're welcome." He's 58 and I'm 57. So that's another factor. It's like we're not 20 something starting this,
Yeah,
quote unquote crazy project. But when it came down to it, when I was looking at it, I'm like, all right, obviously major life overhaul to do. Like this is a turn. This is nothing I had ever seen coming. It seems kind of off the rails. It's definitely a lot of challenges. This is a multi-million dollar project that we're bootstrapping until we get more investors.
mm,
Um, but I kind of looked at it and I kept asking people, coaches and friends, I'm like, dude, this is totally crazy. And all of them said the same thing. Like, you have to go for it. What are you going to, not, you're going to play it safe, reach 80, 90 years old, and always be wondering, what if I had just done that? If I had gone for that dream, what
that's
could
right.
have happened? So that was really good advice, I think. We'll see.
Yeah. Someone actually told me recently that there's a big demand for men's retreats because there's a lot of options for women.
Sure.
That they're prolific re retreat options and uh, things like that. But for men, men's groups and men's retreats are not. There's not so much of that.
I would
So
imagine.
that could be one of the niche markets you could cater to,
Yeah.
because there seems to be a need for it, and men are starting to wake up and realize that they need to get in touch with their inner self. They need to
Yeah.
get in touch with nature. Maybe before men were a bit more macho and wouldn't consider that, but I think men are becoming, more in touch with
Yeah.
their emotional side now, especially leaders, because one of the important things is emotional intelligence, to be a leader. And to get emotional intelligence, you need to do things like this to have
Mm.
connections, emotional connections, connections with nature. And so I think a lot of men are coming around to figuring out that this is actually important. So,
I think you're right. That's really
yeah,
smart. I think that's a great perspective on it. I think women have historically more naturally been gatherers of, like, oh, I'm gonna going out with my girlfriends. And I know
Yes.
my mom had like tons of girlfriends. My dad had like two friends,
It's like my dad. He
but
has
they
almost
were,
no friends. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, but it was like they were really like something you need to move, you need to whatever, you gotta, they showed up. It was,
Yeah.
they're deep, very deep, vibrant relationships, but they might not even speak to each other while they were together. It was
Yeah,
just
exactly.
like
Exactly.
go
Yeah.
do something together, like go plant trees. But I think this next generation, I think there's a lot more openness to that. And men for sure need this. I think men can be some of the loneliest creatures out there. And if they
Yes.
have that time, like I was saying, if you spend a few days face to face, shoulder to shoulder, working with somebody, physically especially, you really build, a lasting relationship, I think.
That's right. Yeah. And so thank you for what you're doing for the human race because um, those people that come to your retreat, you know what, they will be impacted and they'll go out into society, they'll do good things.
Mm,
So you actually almost create a butterfly effect. And the goodness that they take away from being on your land and experiencing your retreat is gonna carry through their lives and through the people that they meet and touch. So
thank you.
what you're doing is going to be a legacy for you, actually.
Thank you.
And it's really beautiful. Um, so now, what are the next steps that you still need to do? How far are you with the process?
Yeah. So we've got so the geodesic domes go on top of decks. And
Hmm.
so we've built the first, and I say we as if I were out there, but our son helps with all the physical labor on this, and hubby,
Yes.
directs it and helps with that. And then, so it's a good combination there. But so he's built the first 30 by 30 deck, 30 feet by 30 feet. And he's currently putting on a little porch that'll go kind of to the side where people can go and have coffee, and then need some railings and steps and that kind of thing. We're on the cusp of ordering our very first dome. It's coming from a
Oh,
company up
cool.
in Canada. And so very excited about that, but we're still scrambling on financing for it, to be honest. So I've got a couple of, like we've got a property. Well, maybe we can borrow against that. Maybe we can borrow against this. What about, like that kind of thing. And we also have a little bit of acreage that we're planning to sell. So it's a matter of which thing happens first. So yeah, that first one when it comes in, it's kind of be our beta test. So we'll get professional photos done and start renting it out, and then we'll be able to approach potential investors and say, hey, the next one, how about we go in? You provide 50K US, and we will build it. We'll staff it. We'll clean it, book it, all that kind of stuff, and we'll split the proceeds for the next 10 years, or profits, I should say. And so this is kind of like the linchpin. I'm very excited because it's, proof of concept that when what I discovered, this has been interesting. I was so hesitant to raise money because I'm like, that's a huge responsibility.
Yeah.
But it a little unnerving. But these were angel investors, and they were like, we see your vision, and that's what we're betting on. We know you, and we know, this is an amazing thing that you're going to create. They also could see that ripple effect, like you were saying.
Yeah.
So they want it in then, and then. But other types of investors need to see, like, okay, how is it performing? Like, we want some numbers. So this is going to enable us to, have those conversations with other investors. So.
Ah, that's lovely. And the geodesic dome that you're getting now, how many does that sleep?
So you could sleep 4 to 6. What it is, it's a 6 meter dome, so 315 square feet inside. It'll have a full bathroom, but small, like not a
Hmm.
very expansive one or anything, a little kitchen area, and then a full bedroom. And then upstairs, there'll be like a little loft. It's about 12 feet tall inside. And because of
Right.
the way that the dome's walls are shaped, most of that is usable. It's not like this where most of it's not.
Yes.
It's very tall. So there'll be a loft up there as well. And then the fourth area is like a sitting area that'll have a sleeper sofa. So,
Oh,
or very
nice.
comfortably 6 if you want to squish.
Yes. Yeah, so that's quite nice for families even.
Yeah,
We have a family of six. Some of them are small kids, so
right.
toddlers.
They
It's
don't care if they're on a Yeah.
they'll squish nicely. That's pretty cool.
They squish, they're very squishable.
You're giving me some ideas for future holiday destinations here.
There you go. That's great. That's
No,
awesome.
that's so cool, and it's so I think one of the most empowering things is when people see your vision.
Yeah.
And I've had some startups before, and the most amazing thing was, when you put something out there and other people rally behind you and see what you see. And
Yeah.
there's no greater feeling than that. You just feel like you're on top of the world because,
It really is.
um,
That's
yeah,
exactly the feel. You're like, wow, you see it too.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's beautiful. I really love it. And you know, I really wish you all the best of success with that. And
Thank you.
I do know that you have another project as well that kind of goes hand in hand with it.
Yeah.
Would you tell us a bit about that as well?
Sure. So I'm also the founder of a group called Entrepreneurs Gone Wild. It
Okay.
has a podcast and a newsletter, and there's a Facebook community, a private community. And this, I started it because I was like, darn, it's taking us so long to move up to the land. I want to start serving them now, So I decided, well, I can start gathering them and have, start building those relationships and friendships in the group so that when we are here and they can come here physically, they'll have friends already. They can come together. And at first, when I started the group, I thought my whole job was to shoo them outside, like nag them almost like, did you play outside yet? But I realized they already want that. So it's really cool. I'm like, oh, all right. I don't have to nag them. It's we already have this shared goal of basically craving more time outside. And so, because my whole first business was about marketing writing, I'm like, wait a second. It took a while before I connected the dots, Ricardo. It's a little embarrassing to tell you how long it took for me to
That's
go,
okay.
oh, this is how I can help people. so, so I do things like I create lead generation, like done for you. Here's your lead generation asset. Go deploy it. It's going to work for you. That type of thing, because I realized that all these people wanted to be outside, but there was something, usually their business, that was making them stay on the screens and stay inside instead. So I'm steadily working at like, all right, what's the next obstacle? Let's get you outside. So when I can solve them either with, hey, I got a guy, I know somebody who can help you with that, or here's a tool that I found, or here's something that I create. So I'm championing an exodus to the outdoors.
Yes. Oh, that's so beautiful. How does someone get involved in your Entrepreneurs Gone Wild community?
Oh yeah. So you can find it on Facebook. It's just Entrepreneurs Gone Wild, or you can find it through the website, entrepreneursgonewild.com. And they'll both lead you to the group and just come on in and there's a few little questions to answer and then
Okay.
come in and introduce yourself. And
Oh,
I just,
fantastic. I'll check it
especially
out.
people from around the world, I want to see, like, show me a picture of where you like to be outside. I want to see it.
Cool. Um, I'm quite fortunate that we have quite a bit of farmlands around here, and we sometimes one of our fun things that we do, I don't know, maybe once a week or something like that, is we go and feed the local horses. So, there are some um horses not too far from us, maybe a 5-minute drive away. And the owners have said that, we're welcome to come and feed them carrots and apples because they love that.
Nice.
So we take the kids and we just go with a bag of apples and we call the horses, they come running to the fence and we just give them
Oh, that's
the
so
food.
great.
So it's
They
really
probably
cool.
recognize you now, like, oh,
Yeah.
Ricardo and his family's here. We're gonna
Yeah.
eat snacks.
Yeah, we we've already done that about 3 times. We also found another place where there was some baby cows as well that the girls could see through the fence and even, pet them if they got close enough. So
Oh,
yeah, because we have a bit of a country town that we're in, it's very nice. We are quite blessed to have those sort of experiences. But not a lot of people do, like people who live in the cities and built up areas, they wouldn't really have that. So it's
yeah,
great that you're giving them that option. Um,
sure.
so I do encourage everyone who is keen to rub shoulders with other wild entrepreneurs like us to join Sue's group. I'll put the links in the description below, so just feel free to click on and come and meet us. And Sue, what would be some of the um, some advice or some final words that you would leave with th-
Hmm.
the audience?
That's a great question. I think I would just challenge them. And I'm still guilty of it. We typically go, okay, I'm going to do all my work and then I can go out and play. We were trained from childhood to do it that way. I'm beginning to play with, and I challenge people to run the thought experiment. What happens if you reverse that? And you go outside first with no screens, just like out, like 10, 15 minutes. See what happens and see if you maybe don't get some fantastic ideas that would just pop out, rather than having to screen for them like we do when we're working inside on our screen. So that would be the thing is just try it out. You don't have to commit to 30 days, but just try it now and then and see what happens and if it does work, where all of a sudden you're like, whoa, that time is so, so effective for me because I've got these great ideas bubbling now, then maybe make it part of your normal daily routine.
That's really cool. Actually, one of the things I've done with my wife is we take the little ones uh, for like regular daily walks before I start my work. So um, we just go walk around the neighborhood or to go feed the horses, like I said, and then I'll come back and start a late morning and then do my work from then. And I feel like
Nice.
I think a lot of my stress levels are much lower. So
Yes.
um, I do believe that that works. And give it a try. I think you'll enjoy it, everyone.
Yes.
And thank you so much for being on this interview with us, Sue. Just when I think I couldn't, meet any more cool people, I'll end up meeting you. And this is one of the amazing things about having this podcast is that um, every person that I interview blows me away in some way new that I didn't, you know that I was going to feel those things when I was doing the interview. And, just, when I th thought I've seen everything and heard everything, I'll end up meeting someone else with something amazing and such an amazing personality as well. So
Oh,
thank you
thank you.
for being here and sharing your personal magic with us. I
Oh,
really
thank you
appreciate
so
it.
much, Ricardo. It's been an absolute delight. And please, if you're ever stateside and it's specifically in Tennessee, come because you've got a standing invitation. I would love to go skip some stones in the creek with you or,
Thank you. Maybe I'll plant
have
some
a
trees for you.
yeah,
I'll
oh
have some
yeah. Oh yeah. I
experience.
forgot. I'm gonna put you to work. Can you run an excavator?
Cool. Thanks everyone for tuning in again, and always remember to dream big and build bigger. Until next time.